Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Monday. It is Monday. It's Monday at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am live. And found my old glasses, thank goodness, because I have been... my other glasses broke that I bought from, what was it, USA Glasses or something like that. And they got bumped and just popped and snapped. What's up, Stu? First in chat. How are you, brother? I hope you had a good birthday yesterday. I did. Actually, I did have a very sweet birthday. I got a new, you can't really see it. This is my ring finger, but I got a new wedding band. My wife got me a new wedding band. This thing is heavy. Heavy. I think it's her way of saying, don't ever forget. You'll never be without 20 pounds of a little ring on your finger. No, I'm kidding. It was actually very sweet. And she had all of the... all the kids write me little happy birthday cards, and it was like a scavenger hunt through the house. Every card had a letter. I read the letter, and it would give me instructions to go to another part of the house. And so I basically lost 10 pounds searching for all the letters that ultimately led me to my new ring. And it was actually very sweet. I kind of hid it from everybody, but I got kind of teary-eyed in every room. So it was actually very sweet, and it was a good time, and had a cake, had a couple neighbors over. It's funny because some friends of ours, they literally live right down the street, and the one is a police officer, and and his wife is in the mortgage business, and they're super, super cool, and they have the most adorable baby girl. And so every once in a while they come over and we drink while the kids play. And it's funny because my wife and I have this TikTok video that's getting close to like 20 million views. And it's been linked all over the place, man. We're finding it. People are sending it to us on Instagram and just all these different places. And it's just blowing up. And all it is me standing there. My wife kind of spins around and does a little dance with me. It's silly, but it shows our height difference. And so everybody's talking about it. And so Ryan and I last night decided to we redid it. We kind of like duetted it in a way, but it goes from my wife and I to me and him. And he's standing there and I'm kind of reenacting the whole thing. We busted out laughing. It was really funny. And we put it on TikTok last night, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, I was actually supposed to go live with Charles Hoskinson yesterday. And he just ghosted me. I don't know, man. He's like I don't know what to say, but he just kind of like pops up. I don't know. It's whatever. So anyway, we're talking about Bitcoin. Now there's some stuff that I want to kind of break down, a couple articles that I want to share, and then some perspective on these articles. A lot happening, and if you can obviously see behind me, Bitcoin has dropped a little bit. And I'll show you a little chart where I basically showed, I think Bitcoin's likely going to do a pullback before we see some significant uptrend again, as is the case with Bitcoin during a bull market. We will get some very extensive increase in price action, but ultimately we get pullbacks. So we might go up to 200, 300% and then drop 40. Go up to 300% and drop 40. And it just seems to be the kind of ebb and the flow of the market. Now, what everybody has been waiting on for over 2 years now is an altcoin run, like a legit altcoin run. When does the altcoin happen? Altcoin market's dead. This is dead. That's dead. Everybody, even people that were in 2017 and have seen the price fluctuations, a lot of people think, oh, all this altcoin's dead. That altcoin's dead. It's just not the case. It's just not the case. And I preach it and I preach it. Even a good friend of mine, Rusty, who pops into chat every now and then, he is like a pregnant woman. When my wife was pregnant, she was super emotional, up really high 1 minute, down really low the next. Like the hormones, me on my testosterone, same thing. Or like when I had a concussion once from taking a ball bat to the back of the head. I always compared it to being like a pregnant woman, just the emotional swings that you have no control over, right? And it's by no means an insult. It's just the way it is. And, you know, Rusty, one minute he's super happy, the next minute he's super down. And I keep telling him, I'm like, you just have to hold strong. This sucks. This sucks. The market sucks. It's been sucking. Bitcoin's going to go up first. We're going to get some Ethereum action after that. And a lot of it's going to spill into the altcoins. And then we're going to create this back and forth volatility as people are trading in and out of everything throughout the bull market, which is going to create this parabolic rise up as we continue to build market cap with the press and with everything else going on. But there has to be a foundation laid for that first. So we're seeing right now Bitcoin, it peaked out and then it's recently dropped back down a bit. It's down to 18,324. But its dominance is still 64%. So it's still quite high, even though we've had a nice little spill into Ethereum and other stuff. XRP is at 53 cents now. It seems like the last I looked at it, XRP was like 23 cents and hung out at 23 cents for like a year or two. It's now up 15.5% on the daily, okay? Ethereum is about $600. Remember, Ethereum's low is like 84 bucks, folks. Might have been 82. And I am live, so I can't cut this out. But yes, I have to scratch my eyes a little bit. What about Cardano, you say? Cardano's right here. It's at 15 cents. It's up 8.17 cents. Cardano is up above just about everything except for XRP. That Ripple army's strong. They're making the Cardano army look a little slacking. Maybe it has to do with Charles ghosting me on my birthday. Cardano's not growing as much because we would have went live yesterday. It probably would have been at 18 cents today, but whatever. So it is what it is. Litecoin is up 3%. EOS is up 6%. Tron is up 6.3%. I mean, the altcoins are starting to get a pump. But what do you see? You see all of this green and then red here. Why? Because a lot of the profit from Bitcoin's going into the altcoin market, which I've been saying was going to happen for 2.5 freaking years now. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. The altcoins have bled into Bitcoin during this run up. When Bitcoin was 12 grand, what did we see? We saw a lot of altcoins bleed as Bitcoin rose. Bitcoin peaks out, reaches a point of resistance that's strong enough that tells the traders time to go back into the altcoins and get my profits there. A lot of people are already starting this ebb and flow, this back and forth between the altcoins and Bitcoin. It's just going to accelerate from here. And that is what's ultimately going to drive the market into all new all-time highs. That's why, all of my holdings, there's so much stuff that I look at and I'm like, okay, they're all going to get their turn. They're all going to get their pumps, some before others. And a lot of that is going to be dependent upon the news and what's coming out. Now, if you see, this is the chart. I haven't touched it. I was at the top of this candle when I basically drew all this stuff out, and we can see this red doji here that's basically saying, yes, we're getting a little bit of a reversal pattern, and this is on a weekly chart. We haven't seen this on a weekly chart since back here, before we started to pump back up. Now, the opposite of this drawing could happen, so don't go running any shorts. I'm not saying that this is a guarantee. I'm just saying that this is what I think could ultimately be happening right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Now I'm going to go over some news and we're going to share some stuff here. XRP goes ballistic, reaching the highest level since November of 2018. It's been 2 years. XRP has been below this 53 cent mark for 2 years. You have to be patient. You have to be patient. This is what I tell everybody. I get so many people coming to me and they say, Crow, what should I buy? What should I buy? And I have to tell everybody the same thing. I can't tell you. I am never telling you what to buy. I'm just sharing my opinions on what I think is happening. It's really up for you to decide what you think is going to be the most beneficial for you. All I do is share my opinion on what I think is going on, and the rest is up to you. I do not give financial advice. I do not tell people buy this, buy that. I might say, I'm most comfortable buying this right now, but that's about it. I'm not telling you what to do. The XRP bull revival continues to gather steam, with the cryptocurrency soaring another 25% in just one day. The XRP XRP, the fourth largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, has extended its impressive rally by surging over 25% on November 23rd, peaking out at about 55 cents on Bitstamp, the strongest uptrend since Bill Clinton. XRP once again became the talk of the town after skyrocketing over 50% on November 21st without any particular catalyst. I mean, what does that tell you? The speculation of altcoins is where the money's at right now. Now, as the speculation continues to drive price action, that price action to some degree is what's also going to drive adoption of use case. I know it should be the other way around, but what happens is right now at these very entry level positions that a lot of these projects in cryptocurrencies are in, what is going to draw people to a lot of these altcoins? Well, it should be use case, but it's the price of that. It's the speculative value of that particular altcoin that's driving the adoption. Because like Tron, for example, Tron's still dirt cheap. I think it's going to go very, very high. I think it's going to do very well. Then it doesn't matter if it's a quote unquote shit token or, whatever. None of that really matters. What matters is that it exists, it works well, and there are a lot of applications on that blockchain, and there are more to come. And when people see, oh, well, this has risen from 2 cents to 5 cents, from 5 cents to 10 cents, I want to figure out how to accumulate more. I'm going to see what all I can do on that blockchain. Do you understand? And that's when people start getting caught up in the gambling dApps and all the different stuff that's available where you can potentially accumulate more of that particular asset. And then that use case further drives adoption because now you're seeing more transactional volume that's not just trading, so forth and so on. So in essence, it's almost like pulling the cart before the horse. But that's kind of how I'm seeing things in the cryptocurrency markets right now. For those of you that are, you have your Crow Trader licenses, this is way not updated because we're waiting for the next full version. But DCA is almost here. If you join the Telegram channel, the testing has been going nonstop on entering DCA. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I get a lot of people lately. You're watching my videos on like a 40% pullback and you're saying, hey Crow, should I buy Bitcoin now or should I wait for a pullback? So DCA is dollar cost averaging. All right. So for those of you that are new and you're not real familiar and you don't know what's happening. Oh, and another thing too, anybody that's pretending to be me in my comments, if somebody tells you, call this guy, go to this Instagram, go do this, do that, you'll make profits and all, it's not me. Just so you know, it's not me. I have like 3 or 4 Crypto Crow impersonators in my own comments, and I try hiding them, but they just create more, and it's almost like a bot, and they're just botting all through. We need better controls for this kind of stuff. But anyway, be careful because it's probably not me. But anyway, what I tell people is, listen, you can either buy Bitcoin now at a potential peak of the market for this time frame, wait for a dip, or average it over time. Let's say I had $1,000 and I want to buy Bitcoin. Well, maybe I break that up over $1,000 a day or $100 a day for 10 days. Because what happens is if I'm DCA, if I'm dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, and let's say when I first had the idea, it was 18.9. Well, I could have bought it at 18.9, but then now I'm down. I'm down $500 if I bought a whole Bitcoin, right? You don't. That doesn't necessarily make much sense. Now, if you're long-term bullish and you just want to buy it and forget about it, and you don't care about the swings, cool. But if I took this and I took it into a daily trade, well, this is a here. Let me go to a daily. Here's a daily chart. So if I were buying it here, I would be paying more every day. So maybe that's not the best move. Not when it's on a big parabolic, like a big run up. Because every day you buy Bitcoin, you're going to be spending more than the last time. However, in most cases, a day can mean, like if I started here, and then I'm paying less each day. So the idea being, let's say you had $1,000, maybe you did $10 a day. You spread that out over a long period of time. That way the ebbs and the flows of the price within those time periods aren't killing you one way or the other, and you establish an average buy-in price, which is typically going to be lower than you buying at a peak. So that's kind of the way, you know, I consider it best. Now, the bot, if you're running a trading bot, which is where I see a lot of the volatility that's going to be coming into the market here soon, the volatility of the bot is basically, look, it's going to buy an altcoin with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin pumps, then you're going to hold bags. But if you DCA allows you to double down on that. So let's say I bought Cardano at 10 cents, and then Bitcoin rose up $1,000 from where I bought it. Well, now I'm holding a bag because I need it to cross back over. With DCA being functional in the bot, I'm going to be able to double down and buy more at the cheaper price with the you know, let's just say I bought $100 worth of Bitcoin, and I spent that on Cardano at 10 cents. But now that same Bitcoin is worth $100 more. So now I can double down at a more expensive Bitcoin value, accumulate more Cardano at a cheaper price, so it doesn't have to come back up as high for me to get that crossover and reach profit. I hope that makes sense. But that's ultimately what DCA does. I know when I typically, if I'm running a bot, I generally would run up to a 5-tier DCA. And it's just profit. It's profit like crazy when bot trading. So, and it's been a feature that I've been wanting in CrowTrader now for, I don't know, 2 years. And it's finally starting to happen. And this is definitely going to get me extremely active on CrowTrader once again, as soon as DCA goes live, which could be any day now. So if you have it, check it out. If you don't have it yet, you might want to do some research on the bot and see whether or not it's going to work for you. Now, PayPal CEO, our platform will significantly bolster the utility of cryptocurrencies. We'll see about that. What I do know is I've got another article here that's going to shed some light on this, because what PayPal's doing is actually a little interesting. PayPal's chief executive believes cryptocurrencies are on the verge of mainstream adoption as more businesses and consumers flock to digital payments and digital forms of currency. This is a company who just 2 years ago was calling it all one big scam. My, how times have changed. In an interview with CNBC, PayPal CEO Dan Schulman said the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the shift to digital forms of payment. PayPal wants to be at the forefront of the ongoing digital transformation. Schulman said the use of cash has declined precipitously amid the pandemic, adding that 40 to 70% of consumers no longer want to handle cash. Wow. It's amazing how that's working out, especially when there's a coin shortage and you can't even really use quarters and stuff much anymore because nobody has it. Because people are pushing, whoever these people are pushing for a cashless society. But what's funny is how this cashless society has been a narrative established for decades now. And we're finally reaching a point not only where a cashless society isn't being forced on us, but we're encouraging it ourselves and asking for a way to not touch cash. Listen, folks, David Icke said it himself many, many years ago. Today's sequoia is yesterday's nut that held its ground. And I think we're seeing the truth of that. One of the things that we allowed is not just making it easy to buy and sell and hold cryptocurrencies, but very importantly, early next year, we're going to allow cryptocurrencies to be a funding source for any transaction happening on all 28 million of our merchants. And that will significantly bolster the utility of cryptocurrencies. These guys are basically gunning for what Utrust has been building and what they already have in place, and they're adding more and more merchants. Now, I want to implore those of you guys who, even if you have a PayPal account, which the majority of us do, even if you love what PayPal is doing, I want to highly encourage you to make sure you're aware of what Utrust is doing as well. Why? because as long as there is competition for someone like PayPal, it will make it much more difficult for them to take advantage and to utilize this very powerful platform of theirs to basically screw people. There needs to be competition in this space, and Utrust is PayPal's competition in this space. They adopted it first. They are building everything that they're building with the Utrust platform through legitimate adoption. And I just want to make sure that people understand the value of Utrust. Utrust is in my very, very personal opinion, who I would much prefer doing my crypto transactions with merchants than PayPal. I know PayPal's easier. It's not even really easier. It's just that it's not really trading with crypto. They have this whole weird thing that they're doing, and I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. Bring in the adoption, but then let that adoption start utilizing Utrust. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, Bitcoin is already outperforming the halving that sparked $20,000 all-time high. Bitcoin in 2020 is right between its 2016 and 2012 positions. Data shows as 6-month performance sees 2.2 times gains, which really, that's the whole reason why so much of this is going into the altcoins, because even if Bitcoin were to go to $100,000 from here, that's only a 5x return. I can put 15 cents into Cardano right now, and when it gets back to its all-time high of $1.33, you're getting a much better return than just Bitcoin getting to 20 or getting to 100,000 bucks. So, but Bitcoin just feels so much more secure. That's the thing. That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why people are putting their money into Bitcoin, because what they hear the most often. But that's going to be changing soon after Goguen. That much I'm sure. Bitcoin price is up 120% since May. Using figures from Coinmetrics and statistician Clark Moody, charts BTC's halving index compares Bitcoin's price progress since May's halving with the 6 months. Why is this always so confusing? Is it me? Am I half an idiot? Or is just the writing just crap? Using figures from Coinmetrics and statistician Clark Moody, charts BTC's halving index compares Bitcoin's progress since May's halving with the 6 months after the 2020. Yeah, just worded poorly. All right, on to another article. Who is this writer? William Suberg. You need to brush up on that. Now, this is actually the big deal here. Bitcoin shortage. PayPal bought 70% of all mined Bitcoin last month. Now, here's something else I want to show you real quick. This is back. Now, and I like to put this stuff towards the end of some of these videos because that's when the most people are going to see it live. So this is back on August 6th. August 6th. How much has changed in the market since August 6th? Okay? These are the institutions who have filed their holdings with the SEC as of August 6th. If you count this up, it's only about 100,000 Bitcoin. But 100,000 Bitcoin is just under about $2 billion worth. Okay? So, ARK Investment Management, LLC, 20,000 Bitcoin, 20,226. Kinetics Portfolios Trust, 15,284 Bitcoin. Arcadios Wealth Advisors, 9,000 Bitcoin, and so forth and so on. I calculated it up, it's about 100,000 Bitcoin. Now, the thing of it is I don't even know what these numbers look like today. This is from August. So the article came out in August. This is actually from June. So the table below shows more than 20 institutions, including 2 prominent fund companies that owned Bitcoin via Grayscale's trust as of June 30th. Now, crypto hedge fund Pantera Capital revealed global payments processor PayPal purchased over 70% of all Bitcoin mined in the past month, as per an investor letter published last week. PayPal began its crypto offering to U.S. clients earlier this month to a warm response, with data suggesting purchases of up to $20 million in Bitcoin daily. This is one group, $20 million a day. going into buying up Bitcoin. Pantera, in its notes, said it calculated the amount of Bitcoin on PayPal using metrics from the latter's exchange provider, Paxos, owned Itbit. Prior to PayPal's integration of crypto, Itbit, the Paxos-run exchange was doing a fairly constant amount of trading volume. The white line in the chart below said Pantera. Now, yes, I would really appreciate it if you smash that like button. There's 400 of you on. I'd love to see 400 likes, but sometimes that's not. Sometimes that's asking a lot. I don't know. It added that after PayPal's crypto service went live, Itbit's volume exploded, and implied that PayPal users were already buying almost 70% of the new supply of mined Bitcoin. As per mining tracker site BTC.com, over 900 Bitcoin are mined and sold in the open market by mining firms daily. And this graph just shows you the insane spike in volume. This is PayPal. This is PayPal buying it up to accommodate all of the new PayPal buyers. Now, I was actually looking at some data. Right now, at $33.5 billion in trade volume, you're looking at about 1.8 million Bitcoin being traded a day. 1.8 million Bitcoin being traded a day. Back at the height of 2018, I think it was about 1.2 million Bitcoin being traded a day. Now, what's happening, folks, is that a lot of these institutions are accumulating, they're buying, they're making their own cryptocurrency-based offerings to their clientele. And if you remember way back, I did a video entitled, it was like $280,000 Bitcoin. And I've referenced this video many times. Maybe I'll, well, that's right, this is live, so it's more difficult. But I need to reference that video again and show you guys. I did all the calculations associated with just 5% of the global pension funds alone. This didn't account for anything else. It was just an off the cuff 5% of the global pension funds going into Bitcoin. And that actually made Bitcoin like 1.2 something million dollars. But I titled the video $280,000 Bitcoin because I didn't want everybody to think I was completely crazy until I actually showed them how the numbers reflected that change. The idea that Bitcoin's only going to reach maybe $100,000 at the peak of this market at the rate things are going right now, to me, sounds crazy. I think it's more likely that we do see a $200,000 or $300,000 Bitcoin, as crazy as that may seem. Because as all these institutions are continuing to accumulate Bitcoin, and they're offering their own trades, they're offering their own solutions and this and that, the one thing that nobody's ever accounted for yet, that I believe is very likely to happen here sooner than later, are all of these different countries that are going to be instituting their own stable tokens. If we are in fact being pushed into, or let's just say happily guided into a cashless society, all these countries, including the US dollar, will become stable tokens. What these stable tokens are backed by, if anything, we don't know. Could they be backed by Bitcoin? If it were backed by Bitcoin, would that drive the value of Bitcoin up? Of course it would, in insane amounts. Is there enough Bitcoin in existence to make to back a stable coin like a US dollar? Technically, yes. If one Satoshi's worth $1. So while we're seeing the fundamental outlay of so many of these institutions that have gotten into the Bitcoin space, and they're accumulating a lot of the top altcoins as well, what I don't think people are realizing is that countries are meeting daily right now to figure out how to institute a cashless society utilizing blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. And that's one of the things also that Cardano has been working on since Cardano's inception, from idea to MVP to so forth and so on, because they are trying to institute a technology that enables countries, and especially the unbanked, to utilize a blockchain currency that also acts as a voting mechanism for handling elections, with Voltaire, which hasn't launched yet, but it's coming. And I think long term about Bitcoin And I just think about Bitcoin over the term of the next year. And quite frankly, I think that $100,000 is nowhere close to where I can see us ending up. I mean, we could easily end up at $250,000 per Bitcoin within the next year to year and a half. And so, I'm doing this video because I want people to understand what's really going on and to put things into perspective for you, because a lot of people, they just see, well, Bitcoin's price is going up. Nobody knows why. Well, no, these are the reasons why. Because the more Bitcoin that is being purchased and accumulated through these institutional investors, they're holding this. They're not trading it. They're not trading on volatility or doing any of that stuff. They're buying it and accumulating it. And they're overall lowering the available circulating supply that's on exchanges. So when you think about that, and then you think about all of the FOMO that's going to come back into the space, all of the retail money that's going to come back into the space, and just how many other institutions are going to be accumulating Bitcoin or are slowly accumulating Bitcoin under the radar, I think that things are going to get really, really crazy. I really do. And I think that what we're going to see is if Bitcoin's true use case, if Bitcoin's true use case as a store of value is adopted on a global scale, we're going to start seeing governmental stable tokens being consistently traded to and from Bitcoin. What do you think would happen if an entire country's economy or a stable token, if the economics were structured in such a way that if you weren't using your US coin or whatever, you had it sitting in Bitcoin until you were ready to make purchases? How much more do you think Bitcoin will be worth at that time? That's what I want you to think about. Because I've done memes on this, and I know others have too, where they take, Morpheus from, God dang it, what's the Matrix, right? And I've said, how do I know when to cash out my Bitcoin into the US dollar? And Morpheus says, when you're ready, you won't need to, because the idea is it's not going to be about the US dollar anymore. It's going to be literally about the Satoshi. Sats is going to become a very widespread currency that we all use to make purchases. And when that day comes, you might not be able to buy your house with Satoshis. You will, but the majority of transactions are going to be based off of the stable token of your economy. Your US dollar, your yen, your whatever it is, but all of these are going to be represented by stable tokens, and all of these are going to be tradable to and from Bitcoin. And I think that when we reach that point, there won't be a big I'm telling you, when you think about this on the grand scale, and you think about all of these different things that are happening, what else is happening? ID 2020. Google that. Find out how much Bill Gates has actually played significant roles in what's been going on today, from the outbreak to these RFID chips, the technology behind these RFID chips, the voting machines. I mean, there's a lot going on, folks, and I don't want to get flagged or whatever for making a bunch of crazy tinfoil hat claims. But research this stuff on your own, and make sure you spend some time in it. Because I truly do believe that as we usher in this cashless society, these RFID chips that are going to have our vaccine data along with everything else, we're going to be buying groceries like this from now on. And I don't think it's going to be that long until that's what happens. And if you don't want to buy your groceries like this, you're not getting any. And if you don't want to have this embedded, storing some of your medical data to prove you are no risk, you're not going to concerts. You're not going to the movies. You're not going to basically go anywhere. And if you're out past a certain time and the police roll by and they say, zap your hand, for all we know, there could be technology that allows cops to just drive by with a radar zapping RFID chips and seeing who we are before they've ever even said a word to us. Do you understand where things are going? So for better or worse, as this technology unfolds, we are all going to be in a position to where the early adopters, are very likely going to have a very significant leg up over the rest of the public. So anybody that's holding Bitcoin, Cardano, even Ethereum, people that are early adopters in this space right now, the world is our oyster. But that's not going to change what's coming. And it's the rest of the world that's going to be caught off guard. And that is one of the big reasons why we're calling what's happening today a true transfer of wealth. Because it's allowing a lot of us early adopters to reposition ourselves in the world, whether we like where the world is going or not. So keep all that stuff in mind. Start doing some more research on your own. Until next time, guys, crow your coins. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again very soon. I'll be reading the comments down below for the next few days and answering questions and things like that. So I look forward